These are all diners in here.
Two brothers from the Mason family hunt deer in a wide grassland. Joe is the eldest. Danny is the youngest. After a successful hunt, they walk back to their car and prepare to drive home. During the trip, Danny asks about their missing brother Roy. Joe vents his frustration over Roy's actions. Roy left the military to fight in MMA and now works with a mafia boss. Their quiet drive home marks the start of a dangerous chase for Mojave diamonds. Later that night, Roy steps into a nightclub fight in front of wealthy guests. Before the match, he kisses his girlfriend who watches from the side. The fight begins. Roy dominates early and moves toward his girlfriend with confidence. His opponent recovers and strikes back hard. Roy falls and the other fighter wins. Julian, the mob boss, is furious. He meets Roy and accuses him of losing focus. Julian had bet millions on Roy and lost it all. Soon after, Julian's men drag in Roy's girlfriend. Julian kills her in front of Roy.
Less than an hour ago, you were fucking her brains out.
Julian then takes Roy to a hidden base. He orders Roy to deliver a rare diamond worth $50 million. He offers $1 million as payment. Roy asks why Julian will not send his own men. Julian points to Roy's driving skills, his debt from the fight, and the presence of Joe, a strong older brother. Julian demands collateral and threatens Joe's wife and children to secure the deal. Roy, who has no family of his own, listens in silence. Roy grows anxious. He and Joe have not spoken in months. He tries to call Joe, but Joe refuses to answer. The next day, Danny, an army soldier, spends the morning at the military base. A friend invites him to a basketball game during their upcoming days off. Danny declines because Joe has asked for help with the family farm. After work, Danny drives to the farm behind Joe's house. Joe tells him that Roy called the night before, but he ignored the call. Danny knows their relationship is tense and suggests that Joe should have answered. He worries Roy might need help. As Danny changes into his uniform, a truck pulls up. Roy steps out. Joe's wife and daughters greet him warmly since he has been away for a long time. Danny notices the arrival and runs to the back of the farm to inform Joe. He urges Joe to meet Roy, but Joe refuses. He believes Roy has brought another problem and is still angry about Roy's work as an MMA fighter for a mafia boss. Roy overhears the conversation. The brothers argue again. Frustrated, Roy turns to leave. Danny follows and asks him not to take Joe's words to heart. Roy invites Danny to join a delivery trip outside the city in the coming days. He explains that he first planned to invite Joe but decided against it after hearing Joe's harsh comments. Danny, glad for the chance to reconnect, agrees to go since he has time off from the army. During the drive, Danny tells Roy that Joe still cares but struggles to show it. Curious about the job, Danny asks about the delivery. Roy says they will pick up the goods from a warehouse the next day. That night, after covering many miles, Roy brings Danny to an underground fighting arena run by a friend. They watch a fighter named Big Duke defeat several opponents with ease. Roy, who once beat Big Duke, challenges him again. Big Duke accepts, eager for revenge. When the fight starts, Roy quickly gains control and wins without difficulty. The next morning, Roy and Danny continue toward the warehouse to collect the diamonds. When they arrive, Roy steps out of the truck while Danny waits outside. Inside, Roy meets Polly, Julian's trusted associate. Polly explains that the diamonds are hidden in a bottle to avoid police attention.
These are all diners in here.
Before Roy leaves, Polly warns him to stay careful and deliver the package on time. He reminds Roy that if he fails, Joe's wife and daughters will face Julian's retaliation. Roy returns to the truck and they drive toward the drop-off point. As they travel, the fuel gauge drops. They stop at a gas station to refuel and take a short break. Roy and Danny walk into the convenience store for drinks and a restroom stop. Their break ends abruptly when 3 cars pull in and a group of thieves storms the station. They attack customers and staff without warning. Security guards try to respond but are shot and killed. The robbers steal the truck carrying the diamonds and speed away. Roy and Danny grab the store owner's car and give chase. During the pursuit, Danny presses Roy about the cargo. Roy avoids the question. The robbers notice they are being followed and open fire. Roy fights back, but the attackers force them to abandon the damaged car. They continue on foot. As they move through the chaos, Danny asks again. This time Roy admits he is transporting diamonds worth $50 million for Julian. That night, Julian learns from his men that Roy has not reached the delivery point. He begins to suspect theft. Meanwhile, Roy and Danny rest in a remote savannah with no phone signal and no nearby settlements. The next day, the robbers who stole the diamond meet at a hidden location with Polly, the planner behind the heist. Polly intends to frame Roy for the theft and make him look guilty. Meanwhile, Joe returns home with gifts and is shocked to find his house destroyed. His wife and daughters are missing. At the same time, Roy and Danny keep walking through open land searching for a phone signal. After hours, they finally find one. Julian calls first. He warns Roy not to run with the diamond. Roy explains that a gang stole it, but Julian shows no concern. He gives Roy 48 hours to recover the diamond or Joe's family will die. Soon after, Danny gets a call from Joe. Joe tells him about the kidnapping. Roy then explains the entire situation. Joe, furious that his family is in danger, demands their location. Before leaving to meet his brothers, Joe visits the farm and opens a hidden room filled with weapons. He once served in the special forces and kept his gear. He selects a few firearms and ammunition, then sets out. Danny grows angry with Roy for bringing this threat on the family. As the afternoon passes, he calms down. He apologizes, knowing they must work together. After a long night without sleep, Joe reaches the meeting point. He confronts Roy and demands to know who took his family. Roy says Julian is holding them at his residence. Determined to save them, Joe, Roy, and Danny head toward Julian's location. The next day, the three brothers reach Julian's compound and begin their rescue. They move quietly and take down several guards. Joe tells Roy to enter the house while Danny stays back as a sniper. Inside, Polly walks into Julian's room without warning. Julian, with a woman, is irritated and reminds Polly not to interrupt him. Polly ignores the warning, pulls a gun, and kills the woman. He declares that Julian is unfit to lead the mafia and says the position should be his. Polly explains that his uncle once held the role but trusted Julian to manage operations, which allowed Julian to take power. Polly also admits to planning the diamond theft. Meanwhile, Joe and Roy clear the guards inside the house. The noise draws Polly's attention. Seizing a chance, Julian attacks Polly and they fight. Joe enters the room, and a tense standoff follows as he and Julian aim their weapons at each other. Julian challenges Joe to a fight, confident in his close combat skills. He quickly overpowers Joe and leaves him injured. Roy rushes in to help but is defeated as well. Polly, regaining consciousness, uses the chaos to his advantage. He shoots both Joe and Julian, leaving them for dead. Moments later, Julian's men arrive. Polly blames Joe for Julian's death and orders them to take Roy to his headquarters. Joe survives thanks to his bulletproof vest. He finds Danny and tells him about Roy's capture and the location of Polly's base. Danny, already familiar with the place, urges immediate action. On the way, Danny contacts his fellow soldier James. James gathers weapons and ammunition. They pick him up, and the three head toward Polly's headquarters in a nearby mine. The next day, Polly tortures Roy inside the mine where Joe's wife and daughters are held. He offers a brutal deal. Roy must fight one of Polly's best men. If Roy wins, Polly will release one of the girls. If he loses, Polly will kill Joe's entire family. During the standoff, Polly brags about how he found the diamond mine. He says he discovered it by accident while using explosives with a friend. When they uncovered diamond fragments, greed took over. Polly killed his friend to keep the mine and its profits for himself. Polly signals his men to attack. Roy, exhausted, struggles to defend himself and is soon cornered. Outside, Joe, Danny, and their team battle Polly's guards in a fierce fight. Roy refuses to give up. Summoning his remaining strength, he turns the fight around and traps his opponent in a chokehold. At the same time, Joe and Danny break into the mine and launch their assault. Outside, their sniper James is ambushed by one of Paulie's men and is left paralyzed. Roy moves to free Joe's wife and daughters while Joe confronts Paulie, who tries to escape. Joe aims his gun, but his weapon is empty. He charges forward and engages Paulie in hand-to-hand combat. Just as Joe gains the upper hand, 2 detectives arrive and stop the fight. The authorities arrest Paulie and his crew, ending the FBI's long hunt. Joe's family is rescued. A detective thanks the brothers for their help in capturing the gang. In the closing scenes, Roy chooses to leave MMA behind and work with Joe on the family farm. The brothers spend time together on the land, riding through the fields as they did when they were young. They rebuild their bond and look ahead with hope, united and determined to protect their family and their future. So the moral of the story is, if your family calls, pick up, because ignoring them can turn a simple hunting trip into a diamond heist, a mob war, and a full action movie before breakfast.